Here's our SketchUp lesson on making block letters. The first thing you're going to want to do is to make a square using the rectangular tool. When you make the square, you'll pull the square shape so that you get the diagonal line, and then it says the word square. Once you have a nice square shape, then change your camera angle so that you are directly above the square. Now, using the select tool, you'll then highlight the square and copy and paste the square. You're going to paste as many squares as are needed in order to make your name. For example, my name is Amanda, which has 6 letters, so I'll need 6 squares. For this assignment, you have to have a minimum of 4 letters and a maximum of 6 if you'd like, or as many as you'd like. So if your name is AJ or Ava, those are only 2 or 3 letters. So you'll need to do your last initial or your middle name or your last name, but something so that you have at least 4 to 6 letters. Now that you have as many squares as you have letters in your name, you're going to use the line tool to find the midpoint of each of the squares. Then you're going to make each letter into a block letter by only using the line tool and the erase tool or the rectangular tool. So you'll block out the corners or the middle and erase any lines that you don't need in order to make the letter. So here I've made the letter A, selecting the middle and erasing that. Now for the letter M, I'm going to need lots of midpoints to make this letter, so lots of lines that I'll later erase. Since I'm not going to be using any curved lines, I'm going to have to use just straight lines in order to make the angles of the M. I'm making all my letters in capital. It's much easier than to use the straight lines to do that. You can make them lowercase, but we're using the square as the outside of each of the letters. Since I have A several times in my name, I don't actually have to make the letter over and over. I can erase the square that I was going to use for A and just copy and paste the A again. You can redraw it if you'd like, but you don't need to if you have repeating letters. For the N, I'm going to plan it out so that I have the lines, the 2 main lines on the outside and then the diagonal in the middle. When you are planning out your letters, it's nice to look at example letters on the internet. You can look up block letters or look at the examples at the end of this video. For the letter D, it's a little bit more tricky since I'm not going to have any curved lines for the D. So I'm going to use the diagonal lines in the corners as well as in the middle to take out the middle. Sometimes when making the letter, it doesn't quite look right when you're done, in which case you can always hit edit undo or redo the whole shape or edit out some of the lines that you've already drawn. Now that I'm done with the first block letter name, I'm going to copy all of the name, all of the letters at once in order to paste them down below to make my name a second time. So if you use the select tool and drag over all the letters, you can edit copy and edit paste right below your first name. For block letter name number 2, we're going to use all of the other tools that we've used. So we're going to use the circle tool. You can use the polygon. We're also going to use the line tool, erase, the arc, any of those tools that we've used before to add to our letters of our name to make them look fancy. If you need to move them over, you can select them and move over. And so just play around to make your letters look however you'd like them to. When you're done, you're going to erase all of the lines that you don't need for when you're going to pull your letters to be 3D. So you'll go through so that it's all one solid shape. For block letter name number 3, you're going to use the freehand tool only to create all of the letters in your name. You'll take out the middle if they have a middle part of it, and also be sure that it connects completely to become grayed out so that it can become a 3D shape. When making this tool, it's best to not lift your pencil at all the whole time so it becomes one continuous line as you make the letters. So there we have it. We have block letter name 1, 2, and 3, and now our job is to make them all 3D. All right, all 3 of our names are done, and it's time to make them 3D. So you'll use the push-pull tool to pull them up to be 3D, and drag your mouse over to the shape next to it to make sure that they're all the same height. So you're making all the letters of all 3 names the same height. All right, that step is done, and now it is time to texture each of the shapes by adding colors or textures to them. So you use the paint bucket tool to add your textures and colors, and you will touch each of the sides, the middle, underneath to color each shape. For your first name, I'd like you to just choose your favorite color. All right, so I'm gonna speed it up so you can see what it looks like when you're done, rotating your camera as you go, being sure that you get all of the sides, top, bottom, inside, and underneath each shape. Okay, now shape number 1 is done, and now I'm going to move on to do my second name, my second favorite color. So there is a way to color them quicker than highlighting each of the sides and just coloring that. If you triple click each shape or each letter, you're able to highlight the whole letter and then change the color of the entire letter at once. So that is a shortcut to color the letters quicker. If you want to change the inside colors to be a shade darker, you can do that as well after you've colored them all. Okay, now on for the third one. This time I'd like you to choose some type of texture, a roofing texture, wood, concrete, siding. Same thing, triple click and highlight, and then it becomes texturized quickly. Okay, when you are all done, then you are going to save it. You'll click File, Save As. We're going to name it your first and last name, so Amanda Divalbus, and then block letters, and click Save. Each time you open this document, if you continue to work on it, you do not need to click Save As. You'll just click Save once you've opened it, and then it continues to save it. If you continue to click Save As each time, it's creating a new document every single time. Here are a few examples of other people who've created these block letter names so that you can check back and see different letters such as C's or J's. Here's an examples of W's and R's. Feel free to reference these examples while you are creating your own block letter names.